Alrighty, I'm a little bit jittery. I got my free Honda dealership coffee here. So I don't drink coffee, so I'm just like a little bit caffeinated right now, and just it's gonna be a good video. It's gonna be good. This is my official coming out video. Yay! I am transgender, and it feels so good to say that on the internet, just out loud, just to everyone. It feels great to let that out. If you don't know what trans is, I'll just give like a quick brief overview. Trans is someone who doesn't identify with the gender that they were assigned at birth. So I am AFAB, assigned female at birth, and I am considering some transitional things in my life, but you do not have to transition medically at all to be trans. I just want to clarify that first. I am not binary trans, and I want to specify that now. Binary trans would be female to male or male to female trans, and I like to use all pronouns. Right now I'm leaning more towards he and they, but I wouldn't call myself a binary trans person because I am also non-binary, which is another video topic. If you don't know what non-binary is, I will totally get into that. This isn't very good. I mean, it's free coffee, so I guess I can complain, but it's not very good. So it took me a really long time to come out to myself, to friends, to anyone. I was in my last couple years of college when I finally was like exploring that for myself. I think for the longest time it was kind of distant from me. It was like, well, for one, it was unsafe for me to explore in the situation that I was in beforehand. And once I left that situation, I was dealing with so much anxiety and depression, just like stress and just other mental issues that had been weighing on me, and just like self-hatred that was just so much that it was impossible to feel like I could explore anything new about myself. I felt trapped in this identity that I had picked and been like, oh well, everyone else is cool with this. And me, I'm a very go with the flow person. I don't like to stir shit up. I don't like to make a scene. And I felt like I would be inconveniencing everyone if I discovered something new about myself that would make other people feel uncomfortable. When it's really not about that. It's really about me being comfortable and feeling confident in myself and my skin and loving myself and just being who I really am. I think a lot of people who are against trans people kind of view it as this thing that you're doing, this like activity or like this like weird side journey that you're doing in your life that isn't necessary, but for the majority of trans people, for a lot of trans people, it's very essential that they transition. Maybe not medically, but like at least socially they have the opportunity to transition because of their mental health. That's the bottom line. It's a mental health thing. Because I mean, I hated myself for a really long time. I knew that there was something weird about me. I knew there was like something, I don't want to say wrong, but that's what I thought of it in my mind. I thought I was wrong or like weird and like a freak. But I never attributed to dysphoria. For the longest time, I thought this was just a general dissatisfaction with my life, a general unhappiness with who I was, and just general self-hatred. I didn't view it as this other, like this gender connected thing, because I thought, I've lived my whole life as a girl and I've been fine with it. Like I don't say that I love being recognized as a girl, but I didn't have like huge issues with it. Like I feel like a lot of other binary trans people do. And so I kind of pushed that away. Like I can't be trans, that doesn't make sense because I don't hate being a girl. But it's so much more complicated than that. Gender is so complicated. Of course I was comfortable being a girl. I've been a girl for 20 some years, and I didn't see anything about it until now, and I'm gender fluid, so I'm not in that binary. I don't feel like I'm just a man. Right? So it was just kind of confusing for a really long time. And I felt like I was just in this limbo of I'm never going to figure who I really am out. Like, I really didn't know myself. And I didn't try to know myself because I was scared that it was something terrible, because I already hated myself. I already thought, you know, like, what's the point in exploring myself when I don't like what I already see? I was angry with myself for a long time, and I hated myself for a really long time. But no, I didn't connect it to gender, and I certainly wouldn't have thought that way growing up in my, like, strict Christian household. That was just not an option for me. Like, if that was something I chose, I would be on the street kind of thing. So, I mean, it comes down to safety. Safety is number one for trans people. That's the most important thing. There are a lot of trans people that are not safe just because they are trans, just because they're out as trans. Especially black trans women, or, you know, trans women of color. They're very much in danger. But people don't see it as that people who dislike trans people or are transphobic, I will say, transphobic people, while they might not like that label, that is what it is. If you don't support trans people, a lot of transphobic people, they think, oh, well, I just don't approve of that, so I'm going to put my opinion on it, but they don't think, well, my opinion is actually impacting the safety of these transgender individuals. My opinion is negatively impacting them. Maybe not directly, but, you know, the more that idea is perpetuated, the more unsafe it is for trans people to just exist in the world. So I would think about trans people's safety first more than anything else. I didn't feel safe to come out for a really long time. I still am scared about it. I'm still just shaking right now. Maybe that's the coffee. But I'm like thrilled to be who I am now, and to sit here and say, like, in full confidence that I am trans, and that that can't be taken away from me. I am not cis. So I mean, that just feels great. Like, I feel amazing saying it. To any of you, like, baby trans out there, not quite sure what you're feeling, of course, everyone's story is different. Everyone figures themselves out at a different time. Like, don't be harsh on yourself. Don't try and force yourself to figure yourself out too early if you're not in a safe place for that, you know? And I'm so sorry if you are in that position, because coming out is the most relieving feeling, and it's just like this wash of just happiness. I feel like crying. Because for so long I just thought there was like something broken in me. I thought there was something wrong with me. And there's nothing wrong with being trans. There's nothing wrong with it. And it's so hard to think that when so many other people do not feel that way. It's okay to be trans. In fact, it's amazing to be trans. It's beautiful. It's interesting. It's fascinating. It's some part of why you clicked on this video, I'm sure. And I mean, it sucks for a lot of trans people. I'm sure there are some trans people that wish they were cis and wish they had been born in a different body, for sure. But, you know, at the same time, there's this trans experience that comes with it, that I personally wouldn't trade for anything. I'm super, super proud to be trans, and just so relieved to know that that's what I am, just to say that. I mean, labels, we don't really need labels, but at the same time, they are important in making us feel seen and making us feel like we are not freaks. So the first person I came out to, like, in person was probably my friend Carly, who is also gender fluid, and she's just amazing. I've always loved her. We've been friends since high school, and I was surrounded by these queer people, by these gay people for a while. Like, I was with the queer kids in high school, and even in college I was hanging out with the queer kids, but yet I didn't feel like it was mentally safe for me to come out yet, to try to see myself in a different way, in a better way than I had been seeing myself for so long. And I feel amazing. I feel so much better than I felt in a long time. I remember just feeling bitter and just sitting there like, no one's gonna understand me. I don't understand me. Like, no one's gonna even try to love me because I don't love me. And it was really hard, and I'm still struggling with it, I'm still learning, but coming out as trans was probably like the best thing for me and my mental health, personally. If you have any questions about, you know, what it means to be trans, what it means to be a non-binary trans, because that just sounds weird, like what? Because for the longest time, all I knew of trans was just binary people. It was just not made clear to me because the information was not there, and that's pretty important. The information. So I want to keep spreading good information about trans people because it's really important for not just the safety of trans people, but, you know, the safety of our society. Like, you know, how is our society gonna do better with all of these depressed, anxious trans people who can't be out or feel safe? Like, how is that gonna help society? It's gonna make things worse. So maybe we just accept and love each other better, and it will make things a little bit easier. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I will be making more queer videos. I'll probably be making another one about non-binary identities and what that means, and, you know, all of that confusing stuff. But yeah, this is me signing off trans for the first time. And it feels great. I am trans! I'm trans! I'm trans! It feels so nice. I'm trans, I'm trans, I'm trans, I'm transgender! Transgender. Trans. Okay, thank you guys again. If you have any questions about transgender identities, you know, what it means to be trans, what even is trans, if I didn't explain that very well, just, you know, comment down below. I love your comments. I really appreciate it. I had some really nice comments in the last couple of videos about my gender, so thank you guys so much for staying tuned to my craziness, and I will see you in the next one.